My name is Sarah Quinn, and I am an activist based out of New York City. I'm basically a human rights, a civil rights activist, more so within the criminal justice system and capital punishment. I accidentally got involved in the Occupy Wall Street movement. A week and a half after the encampment started at Zuccotti Park, I found myself involved in a demonstration for Troy Davis, a man who was executed in Georgia. We were met with like a heavy police presence with rubber bullets and riot uniforms. I hadn't seen anything like that before, so I was like, wow, they're doing this, just for a little old protest. What I didn't realize is that we were making our way down to Zuccotti Park. People were running in the streets. We're breaking laws here, but what the f is the point of getting your point across if you don't break a few laws while you're doing it? A lot of the people that were participating in the march were people that were involved in Occupy Wall Street. And I found myself in the middle of the park. There was an amazing presence. It was very emotional and exciting. I felt like it's important to have a place like this when it comes down to activism in the country. Have like a home base where you can have kind of like solidarity, other like-minded folks or other folks that aren't so like-minded. And that's kind of when I realized like, well, I'm gonna stay. Even if I didn't feel like I was on the same level as some of these people, I knew that we can all really kind of come together and discuss things and maybe come up with something wonderful. You could show up at 3 o'clock in the morning and somebody would be sitting there talking about what they've gone through. I met a woman from Bermuda and a man from Ohio, and their stories kind of changed my life. There's a difference between getting it in person and getting it on the internet. I mean, there was nothing better than seeing someone who worked on Wall Street walk by and just curious, just wanted to know what was going on and was able to walk through the park and kind of, pick things up from people, and maybe that would sculpt the way they saw things. Towards the end of September, October, there was kind of a buzz going around about just the way the men were treating the women at the encampment. Not only the people inside the park, but also the police officers that were stationed there 24 hours a day. And I felt like they were leaving everyone up to their own devices and like watching the late nights crumble. My energy was good energy, and if I can keep the good energy within that park, then maybe I can salvage some sort of relationships that people were having with each other, maybe keep it positive. So I started to stay. I wouldn't sleep, but I would stay at this one tent that was set up for women and just kind of make sure that at least one part of the park women felt safe. Even though we're not pulling the lever or pressing the button, we are still all responsible for the executions in this country. We create our government and we create our rules, and through that we are responsible for what the criminal justice system and the government does to our citizens. Whether they have raped and murdered someone or not, we are still collectively murdering them. The Supreme Court denied me. So as of this moment, I have no pending appeals. His name is Robert Lynn Pruitt. I felt like I needed to have a personal encounter with someone on death row. I picked a state where I know that the men are held in the most oppressive conditions, which is Texas. They're held in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day. They have no human contact with anyone whatsoever. So I simply just went onto the Department of Texas Correctional Facility, and I picked somebody who was close in my age. I figure if I'm going to write someone, I want to be able to have some sort of mutual connection with them. It was kind of nerve-wracking writing a letter to somebody you know is going to die. I wrote the letter and it took about 3 weeks to get a response, and since then we've been writing maybe twice a month. I don't live in fear or worry of an unknown future. Besides, everyone will die. No sense in fretting over when my time will come. I'd rather spend my moments in a positive, happy frame of mind. I don't smile for the world and cry in the privacy of my cell. Okay, maybe I do cry sometimes when I hear a sad story or something. Life is still beautiful to me, and I'm still the upbeat, humorous dude I've been for quite some time. I'm still living in the moment, After a few weeks of writing to each other and kind of forming a friendship, he had asked if I would be interested in being put on his visitors list. It scared me, like the idea of going down there scared me, but something in me just said, you have to say yes, you have to do this. You're alive once, and he's alive once, and he's gonna be alive for a much less amount of time than you will, so you might as well, give this a try. It'll be an experience, a learning experience. So I agreed to it, and then we've become so close that he asked the question of, if this will benefit you in any way, if this will help you within activism or being able to speak out in regards to capital punishment, would you be interested in attending my execution? if I'm against it now, I can't imagine how I'd feel if I actually watched it happen in front of my face. But I haven't really decided yet because it's horrifying. Capital punishment keeps me awake at night. I can't imagine going there, forming a relationship with someone who I think is just an incredible person, and watching him be put down by the state. I don't know how I would be able to, kind of pick myself up and keep moving forward.